Hello, dear friends. The big banks don't predict wonderful things, but it's good to know what they think. Opinion piece. Boiling frog. Cooked like frogs. JPMorgan predictions. No to the driverless cars. Is financial armageddon coming? Failure of Argentine dollarization. Power outages and natural gas shortages. Countdown clock says there are 3 days left. Let's start. The national debt of $34 trillion turned the American empire into a boiling frog, once JPMorgan. The New York-based company 2024 Outlook evoked the popular myth that a frog will sit quietly in a saucepan of gradually heated water until it is cooked alive, but will jump out if dropped into already boiling water. He noted the market's apparent tolerance for deteriorating government finances, noting that could change at any time. The JP Morgan analyst warned of a possible economic recession last year, which would continue until 2024 due to aggressive interest rate hikes by central banks. Blackouts. A strategist at a financial company, JP Morgan, Michael Sembalest, suggests that large cities could face interruptions in the supply of electricity and gas, and has published 10 predictions for 2024 in the company's Eye on the Market section, covering issues that range from elections to the evolution of the dollar. Sembalest explained that the forecast has been prepared in honor of a strategist Byron Wyam, who died at the age of 90 after having spent the last 38 years making annual predictions. Sembalest also predicted that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia would not end in 2024, that regional bank stocks would do well, and that losses on syndicated loans would exceed those on private loans for the first time. Power outages and shortage of natural gas. In one of the predictions, Sembalest predicts that large cities could face potential problems, such as interruption in the supply of gas and electricity. The analyst points to the abandonment of electricity production through dispatchable electricity generation, nuclear, coal, and gas, as well as insufficient investment in gas pipelines and gas storage facilities as causes of the possible eventuality. At this point, the strategist recalls the risk assessment for 2023 and warns that a significant part of the electricity grid is at risk of energy supply problems during peak winter temperatures. Value of the dollar. The strategist estimates that the dollar will remain stable in 2024. Sembalest expects the fluctuation of a trade-weighted dollar index to be 7% at the end of 2024, despite the use of the dollar as a weapon sanctioning. Antitrust cases. Sembalest points to the possibility that the Department of Justice of the U.S. Federal Trade Commission will win one of the main antitrust cases initiated against Google, Amazon, Meta, or T-Mobile. Biden out of the electoral race. Another point of his predictions suggests that Joe Biden, 81, would give up participating in the 2024 elections due to his deteriorating health. In this case, the expert considers that another candidate would run in the elections. The analyst also highlights Biden's low approval rating. No to driverless cars. The analyst also predicts that this year there could be some time of boycott against driverless cars. In the few places where Level 5 autonomous cars are being tested in real conditions, San Francisco and Austin, they have blocked the passage of ambulances heading to the hospital. They have hindered the work of other emergency services. They have caused accidents, traffic jams have increased, and pedestrians have been run over. Sembalest also notes that Tesla is experiencing problems with its car. Nothing that last month the company ordered a recall of more than 2 million vehicles. The recall comes after a 2-year investigation into a series of accidents that occurred while using the autopilot, partially automated driving system. Failure of Argentine dollarization. Sembalest also predicts the collapse of Argentine dollarization if it comes to fruition. In this sense, the analyst recalls that the Argentine president, Javier Milei, needs a two-thirds majority to carry out the constitutional reforms necessary for the convertibility of the law. Furthermore, he highlighted that Argentina would need significant foreign exchange reserves and lower savings rates much higher to even attempt this scenario. Black Swan. Benjamin Fulford thinks that we are heading for some sort of mega black swan event, possibly this week. In quotes. There are many signs that we are heading for some type of massive black swan event or set of events, in plural. The Round Letter site also claims the end of the world and revelation for this week. The countdown clock says there are 3 days left and says that Las Vegas would be the gateway to paradise in quotes. There is also some sort of top-secret UFO meeting in Congress happening at the same time. Colonel Douglas McGregor agrees, saying that his own contacts tell him financial armageddon is coming. All of this could come together in a perfect storm. Banks are in crisis because 50 million customers are defaulting on their loans, while the cost of living exceeds wage growth. Something else would be happening behind the curtain. All this would be smokescreen, says a source. The Storm Rider asks, do you think all the mass resignations that have occurred in the last 4 years of leaders and prime ministers are a coincidence? Europe. The Prime Minister of France, Elisabeth Borne, resigns. A French colonel claims that Kiev has 1 month's worth of ammunition left. Europe freezes. Nordic countries record temperatures of up to minus 43.6 degrees Celsius. Europe filled its gas reserves a month before winter, and they already exceed 90%. Traffic paralysis in Germany. Protests by German farmers over the removal of the diesel tax exemption. Germany alone pays half of the all EU aid to Ukraine. Ukraine could resort to printing money to cover deficits if cash runs out. Annual inflation in the Eurozone rises to 2.9% in December 2023. Launched an investigation into a portrait of Che Guevara in the office of a senior official in Slovakia. Disgraced Prince Andrew isn't going anywhere after the document dump. Spain. A Spanish woman deported with the right to work in the UK after returning from vacation. Health will implement mandatory masks in hospitals and health centers on Wednesday. Valencia, Catalonia, Murcia, Aragon, Asturias, and the Canary Islands reactivate its use, while only 7 regions recommend it. Irregular immigration in Spain skyrocketed in 2023, especially in the Canary Islands. The Galician coasts are facing the massive arrival of plastic pellets. The Space Command, the new ultra-terrestrial structure of the Spanish Air Force, will begin operating in February. Asia. Iran revolutionizes its navy with new ships and tension rises in the Red Sea. Japan registers more than 1,200 200 tremors in a week after a powerful earthquake. China arrests the director of a foreign consulting firm accused of spying for the UK. USA. 49 states on alert due to the passage of a powerful winter storm. A car crashes into the outer door of the White House. Trump calls for the immediate firing of the Pentagon chief for dereliction of duty, in quotes. Trump files a motion to dismiss his Georgia election case, arguing he has immunity. The US is preparing for a broader conflict in the Middle East. The Houthis propose a simple and economical method to ships to avoid their attacks, consisting of ships approaching the strait and declaring by radio, "We have no relationship with Israel." American politicians are trying to divide Ukraine for the sake of peace, says the British newspaper The Daily Express. Americas. AMLO promises to give monthly reports on missing persons in Mexico. Milei gets angry because he didn't know that his decree retired 22 generals. The governors of southern Argentina joined together to challenge Milei's legislative project. Argentina's new challenge in the US, it is worth $16 billion and it doesn't have the money to pay it. Argentina faces a crucial test due to a judgment of billions of dollars that it must pay to the former partners of a state company. Paraguay completes the payment to indigenous communities established by rallying. Noboa decrees a state of exception in Ecuador so that the armed forces intervene in prisons in the hands of organized crime. Lake Titicaca revives with the fall of rain and its water level rises. Bishop of Peru says that blessing homosexual couples would be a horrible sacrilege. Bolivia will put its first biodiesel plant into operation in March. Cuba reported unusual seismic activity in 2023. Is it artificial? And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.